And with that, many thanks to our panelists for joining in. In fact, Akhil Swami stays with me for the next discussion also, and that is about the signing of what's been touted as the mother of all deals between India and the United States, which has now emerged as a fresh political flashpoint. Why so? Because the Congress has launched a sharp attack on the government. They're questioning the intent, timing and potential fallout of the India-EU FTA. Union Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal has pushed back. He's calling the criticism misleading, even politically motivated. What makes this debate even more politically charged is the global context. These developments come at a time when the Trump administration continues to echo similar skeptical sentiments against India. Here's what transpired. Congress leader Jairam Ramesh called the India-EU FTA as hugely hyped and has claimed that the deal is not much beneficial for India. But the government claims that the deal is a win-win deal for both India and EU, with combined GDP of $25 trillion, trade of up to $11 trillion. The Congress claims that the tariff relief on 96% of EU exports will impact the trade deficit, while the government says that complementary economies boost growth and opportunities. Wonder why is there going to be even a question of trade deficit, given that it is the EU which has removed 96% of their tariff barriers. Congress says government has failed to secure an exemption for India's aluminium and steel makers from the carbon border adjustment mechanism. To this, the government has responded that it's a blanket rule that they have for all economies across the globe, not just India. It has already taken up the CBAM issue, finding solutions via dialogue. Congress has also questioned EU's strict health and product safety rules, which would continue to be applicable to Indian exports even after the FTA. Government says that the rules are disciplined, not unjustified impediments. But the Congress says questions over intellectual property rights for our pharmaceutical sector are also unanswered. To which the government has said that intellectual property right obligations are similar to TRIPS and there are flexibilities for public health. Congress has said that the deal grants EU companies a privileged access to India's services market in key sectors such as financial services and maritime transport, while the government has said that commitments are as per India's regime and the deal can attract EU investment. And Tech Congress has also said that automobile inclusion opens up the risk for domestic manufacturers, because remember, so far our automobile market was dominated by Mahindra, Tata, even Maruti Suzuki, to which the government has said that the deal will offer boosts of Make in India initiative. And Congress has also sought clarity for refined fuel trade routes amidst pressure from US. To this, the government has responded that long-term strategic engagement will ensure that EU and India strengthen their supply chain routes. On that note, getting in some breaking inputs. Congress leader Pawan Kheda has slammed External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, saying after the mother of all deals presenting the father of failed deals, the one and only forum minister. So the attacks continue. It's perhaps a case of sour grapes, as the Union Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal also framed it. So on mother of all deals, Congress picking politics over policy. That's a question we are taking forward with Kailash Adhikari, who is a political analyst, also joined in by Akhil Swami, who continues to stay with us, another political analyst. Let's quickly take this forward. Akhil Swami, first of all, why would you call this a trade deficit? Very interesting, given that the EU is removing 96% of their tariff barriers. So where is the question of trade deficit? India is in fact removing only 92%.
See, let us understand that we have a trade surplus with America and we have a trade deficit with European Union and other countries. So right now, if the trade deal happens with America, the America on the other hand, on the opposite, is imposing tariff on exports from India. So India suffers from Indo-American deal also.
And let's stick to the FTA today. We are discussing the FTA and the attacks that have been directed by Jairam Ramesh.
Yes,
right now, what's happening with US is up in the air. So let's stick to the FTA.
I'm coming to that. I just started as a... See, the point is that the population of Europe and their GDP combined is 4 times more than what India's is. So the point is, we will export when we have surpluses. We don't have surpluses of various items. So if you start importing cars from America, Harley Davidson motorcycle, you reduce import duty from America, and you start importing from China because of you are a consumption economy.
Okay,
so
I'm
you
running
will
short
consume
of
their
time.
products.
I only have 2 minutes. I'm going to give Kailash Adhikari closing
The
thoughts to
trade
that.
deal will be beneficial to Europe and not beneficial to us because
You are talking about
they have
automobiles. Let me remind you, it's on a quota basis. 2.5 lakh luxury vehicles, that too, the ones above, say, $45,000 are going to be, in fact, getting entry into the market. So right now, let's also bring in Kailash. Kailash.
Akanksha, it is not just India which is calling this a mother of all deals, but an entire globe is calling, except just the Congress party. I'll explain why. A, we are easing norms for completely knocked down imports, through this deal, and which would encourage European original equipment manufacturers to set up assembly units in India. Now, what will that do? That will actually gradually move all these foreign companies from importing vehicles to assembling them locally. Set up assemble units here, and then that will eventually leads towards full localization towards the domestic supply chains. So we are not only increasing employment, we are boosting a lot of peripheral sectors. Along with this, if manufacturing increases, A. Secondly, this trade pact is being finally finalized after nearly 20 years of negotiations, Akanksha. And it is being described as India's largest and most comprehensive trade agreement. This could create 6 to 7 million jobs, which the government is trying to tell in the textile sector alone, and that sector is the second biggest employer in India after agriculture.
All right.
If I can go on with points by points, the kind of impact
All
that
right.
this could
Perhaps,
have on India.
perhaps the opposition could also explain why there was not such an increase in the FTAs during the UPA regime, and why is it now suddenly there's been this uptick. Remember, the government has also looked after the interests of the farmers, even the automobile sector. Many thanks to you, Akhil Swami and Kailash, for joining in. That's all I have for you in this broadcast of Plain Speak. Thank you so much for watching.